Welcome to the Conscious Publicist Podcast, a space where thoughts become ideas to advocate for a more conscious human experience in the media. Our thoughts and ideas inspire action, and the most notable leaders and organizations have transformed thoughts and ideas into global initiatives that have impacted the lives of millions. My name is Ashley Graham, and as a woman-owned business founder and publicist, I guide leaders, visionaries, and creators in discovering their conscious media voice and methodologies that inspire connection, community, and impact through aligned media channels. In this podcast, we'll dive into public relations, thought leadership, business, and entrepreneurship, all through the lens of being a conscious human being. I'll take you behind the scenes into the habits, thoughts, and modalities that have helped leaders shift past paradigms of limiting beliefs, comparison, and self-doubt to show up for themselves to become the subject matter experts they were called to be. Subscribe to the show on Apple or Spotify and join us on this journey of awakening the conscious, enlightened leader within you. Welcome to a brand new year for the show. Before I dive into any scheduled content, I wanted to express something that is very important to me. I have intentionally waited to share the scheduled content for the show so far, to be mindful of the weight of events that have unfolded in the first few weeks of the year. As your host, and as a sensitive soul at that, I personally believe deeply in acknowledging and honoring the diverse experiences of my listeners, especially during challenging times. The last thing that I ever want to do is share content without really understanding the true influence that is happening around us collectively. Therefore, before I move forward with my scheduled content, I want to share the social foundation of this show, as well as my beliefs, values, and role as a host, speaker, writer, and human being. I believe that we are in a time where truth, integrity, critical thinking, and empathy are crucial. But even more so, I believe that making it a point to have a deeper understanding of the experiences our communities may be facing is critical. You may know that I speak to and on the human experience, at least from my perspective, often, in the show and through my writing. And it's because, as a spiritual woman with great empathy, I believe it is with the utmost importance that in order to help humanity evolve, we must do our part to understand the human experiences that are outside of our own. I personally couldn't proudly say that I am a spiritual, awakened, or an evolved woman or leader if I did not embody this belief. With that said, I want to take a moment to affirm what this podcast and I stand for. I am and will always support human rights and equality for all. In my heart, I have always been for people, and I learn so much from the people in my communities that I am a part of. With that support, I have been introduced to such great passion about being in intentional spaces, but also creating intentional spaces for others, where everyone feels seen, heard, safe, and respected. To me, that means supporting LGBTQIA+ and trans rights, reproductive freedom, racial equality, disability rights, and spiritual truth. I also believe in protecting Indigenous rights and sovereignty and ensuring dignity for all people, regardless of their immigration status or socioeconomic background. With that said, I am also greatly passionate about climate action, sustainability practices, and the protection of our planet for future generations, especially as I am on my path to motherhood. It is through great awareness and attention that the unfoldings to our social, economic, and political influences right now has awakened an inner passion to use my personal narrative as a way to take responsibility to create positive change in ways that expand beyond the reflection of self. I personally have kept my light and my voice for activism dimmed out of fear in the past, which I now see as being such a great disservice to people that I love and respect and admire in my circles of influence. That said, I am passionate about my platforms being platforms that stand for truth, equality, and justice for all. And I forever will now be deeply committed to emotional safety and creating safe spaces where voices who also stand behind these values can be seen, heard, and respected. One of the transformations that is about to take place on the show this year is I will be interviewing empowering voices to bring their stories to this platform. But first, I believed that it was important to clearly state what the Conscious Publicist represents. To me, this isn't just a podcast. It's a space for truth-telling, a platform for authentic dialogue, and a community where integrity isn't just discussed but lived. My journey as a spiritual woman has taken an unexpected but profound turn these last few weeks. I've come to understand that spiritual awakening isn't just about personal transformation. It's more about recognizing our interconnectedness and the responsibility that follows. Each meditation, reflection, and moment of clarity carries with it a call to action. While my influence may seem small in the grand scheme of things, I believe deeply in the ripple effect of conscious choices and brave voices. As a public voice myself, I now recognize that my platform isn't just a privilege, it's a sacred responsibility. It's a responsibility to speak up when others can't, to stand firm in these values even when it's uncomfortable, and to actively contribute to meaningful change in whatever way possible. This means having the difficult conversations, amplifying marginalized voices, and sometimes simply sitting in the discomfort of growth and learning, especially when there are external influences that seem heavy and overbearing. To those who have been a part of this community, thank you so much for standing with me in these values of integrity, truth, and compassionate action. And to those just joining me, welcome to a space where spirituality meets social consciousness and leadership, where personal growth serves collective healing, and where your voice truly matters. Together, we're not just talking about change, we're embodying it.